Hello survivors and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you some useful Gunfighters Mod 2.0 mod settings. There are many settings in Gunfighters Mod that will help you tailor your Zomboid gameplay experience. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more helpful content like this. So there are some options here that you can change, and I recommend you to change some of these options. So for example, we have attachment break on melee function. This means that if you have an M4 and you have gun sight on it, if you use that M4 as a melee weapon, because now you can use them as melee weapons, you can actually break that attachment, say, I don't know, a suppressor or a gun sight that you have mounted. Same thing with attachment break on fire. You can actually break a silencer from your rifle. So I like to keep these on never. This one is actually very interesting. Arrow and bolt break. This is a function that can either save you from breaking those arrows. There's fiberglass arrows, right? And then there's bolts for crossbows. You have to actually find them in Brita's spec. And yeah, you can set these so that they break. Anyway, we have damage multipliers here. We have damage multiplier for arrows, damage multiplier for firearms. You can increase these. 100% means it's normal damage. You also have for melee damage. You also have for launcher range multiplier. Say you want to shoot your rocket launcher a bit further, you actually can. Fixed weapon rotation is very interesting. Now there's a function where you can grab a melee weapon and rotate it, which can give you some certain advantages. 0.5 means it's going to pivot on its own axis, so just keep it as it is. We have weapon light runtime. This basically means if you have a torch and you charged your torch with a battery, you can actually make this torch run out of batteries a lot quicker than normal. I like to keep it on this number here, which is 0.001. So you have this function called eject spent shells. It's very important that you change this option, especially on multiplayer, because it can clutter your server. Every time you shoot, right, a shell casing is actually ejected from your gun. It is actually dropped on the ground. You can actually see it. You can either make it so that only a few of them can be recovered, or you can make it so that they are transferred to your inventory. You can also set it to none, and that is very good actually for multiplayer because it reduces cluttering from the server. Here you have suppression level sound. This is actually mostly for multiplayer. It doesn't do anything to zombie awareness. Sound awareness. You increase these, other players can actually hear you firing your gun much further. So keep that in mind. And then here we have a lot of other options here. For example, we have how many bows, slings, and crossbows we can find. I like to keep it on 80%. Flamethrowers, I completely turn them off. Grenades, mines, and rockets are 10%. Here you have light machine guns. I like to keep this to 10%. Those are basically those support weapons like an M249. You have rifle caliber, pistol caliber, lever action, those like cowboy style rifles. You have revolvers, pump action, bolt action, which includes also snipers, some snipers. And then you have break barrels and single shot. Break barrels are those type of rifles like hunting shotguns that you have to break the barrel, then load the shells inside. And then you have this other options here. These are the type of guns that you're going to find. For example, if I set it to 80%, most of the guns that I'm going to find are going to be from the United States. If you have a custom map installed, for example, you have a Russian map or a Stalker map, you want to find more Soviet guns. So what you have to do is you have to change these percentages. Here are the type of calibers that you can also adjust. For example, I turned off 50 cal, which is basically snipers that are 50 cal. Also remove 10 grams and 4 grams. And there's a lot of options here that you can change. You also have magazines, suppressors that you can find, light and lasers. And if you look here, I reduced the amount of drums that you can find as well, because drum magazines are quite OP. If you have a couple of them, you can take out a lot of zombies with them. Here you have an option where you can find more Brita's armor pack if you haven't installed. If you have it installed, you can actually increase this and you can find a lot more clothes and equipment from Brita's armor pack, which is very important. Here you have an option where you can disable or enable weapons after or before 1992. The game is based on 1992, so it's up to you to allow them to be spawned, right? Here you have another thing, it's very similar to the location and weapons that you can find. You set this to Soviet Union, right? For example, you'll find a lot more Soviet weapons than United States weapons, and you'll also find more ammunition, which is very important. This option allows you to find more equipment and weapons inside military and police vehicles. I find this quite handy, so I crank it up. Random gun cases, this is really nice as well. You can find some gun cases inside cars or inside buildings. Some of them will have actually weapons or ammunition. And then you have this one, which is very interesting, Zombie CCW. Those are concealed weapons. Sometimes you'll find a purse with a gun inside it. Make sure to not make this option too high. Keep it like 10% or 20%, because you'll find a lot of weapons on zombies. Here you'll find more options here that will allow you to find more weapons inside houses or other locations. You can increase this or decrease this. It's up to you. Then here we have something called rolls, which are the chances that you're going to find, for example, guns in a gun store. If you set it to 5, that means it's quite high. If you set it to 1, that means it's quite low. So you can change all of these how you like. Then over here we have civilian trim. That means that we're going to find more civilian weapons inside the civilian areas. For example, I set surplus to have 200% more items than, say, in a civilian town. So basically, if I go to a surplus store, there's a lot more chance that I'm going to find weapons and ammunition there than, you know, house in the middle of a city. I hope you found this guide useful for gunfighter mod settings. If you have found this guide useful, leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel, as I will do more guides like this. Thank you for watching and stay safe.